So tonight we're going to talk about candy. When people think about dieting or losing weight, they always think, I've got to give up my treats. I got to give up my candy. And when you're in maintenance and everything's allowed, we do still want our treats. But what are some more sensible options? What can we have? What should we be looking for? And I want to talk a little bit tonight about understanding glycemic indexes a little bit, blood sugar, and what's hiding in our labels, right? Our ingredient lists. Because the more educated we are, the better decisions that we make. So we're here to help educate and help you to make better decisions. We're also going to talk a little bit about detox. I'm really excited. As most of you know, if you follow me at all, or if you follow AccuWeight, you'll see that in my own Accu lifestyle, I practice what we preach, right? I'm maintaining at this point, it's going on 17 years. I did have a little setback this last year. As many of you know, I had a little bit of an accident. I'm fine. But I was off my feet for a while, and I, for the first time in 16 years, had gained some weight. And I did lose my weight with AccuWeight again, which was great. I never went fully back to my original weight from 16 years ago. But I did successfully lose weight again. But as part of my phase 3, as part of maintenance, I religiously 2 to 3 times a year go back on for a tune-up, just like you, again, when we talk maintenance, we talk about, what do we do with our car? We take it in for maintenance. There's nothing wrong with it. But by taking it in for routine maintenance, we know that the vehicle lasts much longer and drives better. Same thing, our body is our vehicle. So when we do some maintenance work, we are ensuring long-term health and longevity. And as part of my routine maintenance every year after Passover, and we had that a couple weeks ago, I always hop on because, as I say, my mouth loves matzah, my body not so much. So I always do a cleanse right after the holiday. So I'm within my tune-up. Today is day 7, so I'm just finishing up my first week. And I can say I'm not fully where I want to be, but my abdomen has certainly lost the inches of bloat from indulging in matzah. And nice side benefit, I'm already down 6 pounds as of this morning. So that's really exciting. So we're going to talk a bit about detox, and we're going to talk about candy. So let's jump in first with candy. So let's talk about things that, number one, are good, sensible choices when you're in a maintenance place, but are also really wonderful choices while you're in phase 1 in your weight loss with AccuWeight, so that they're really good options for your Accu lifestyle. Now, keep in mind, these are just brands that I know, that I like, that clients have presented to us over the years. But these things are all sitting here because they're part of my household, or we ordered because I wanted them as part of my journey right now. Or again, I keep in the house because these are natural candies that I can, guilt-free, I can allow my daughter to have. Again, I have a 10-year-old. She's a kid, right? She wants her candy. Now, not to say that I don't let her have the conventional stuff that's out there, but on a regular basis, that's not what I want her consuming. So it's really nice to have some natural, healthy alternatives in the house so she's not feeling deprived as a kid. Now, one you hear us talk about a lot, and it really has to do also with satisfying that inner child. So besides my 10-year-old, right, in here is 5-year-old Barbara. And I've got to make sure that my inner child is happy and having some joy. And there is nothing better for a kid than a lollipop. And you hear us talking about these all the time. Dr. John's, I will pull this out, sorry. So you can see, so here's Dr. John's. We're not affiliated with them in any way, so nothing better than a lollipop. We have in our house at the moment chocolate, and which ones are these? Blue raspberry, grape, and cherry, because these are my daughter's favorite. I like these too, but I tend to indulge in the chocolate ones. We get a variety of flavors. My other favorite is watermelon and pomegranate. Those are my favorites. So when I'm looking for something in the evening, I'm sitting in front of the TV, feet are up, I'm finally unwinding for the day, or I'm working late and I'm just looking for something, I'll stick a lollipop in my mouth. It's satisfying. I'm getting some flavor, but it also keeps me from, putting other stuff in my mouth that's going to sabotage my success. One of the great things about Dr. John's, he's a dentist. They've been around for, I think, about 25 years. In the past, I'd say it was 4 or 5 years, they made a formula change. So even their flavors and colors are 100% natural. So everything in these lollipops is natural. They are flavored with, they're sweetened with xylitol. And xylitol is good to help with dental bacteria. So it's good for dental hygiene, which is why, again, Dr. John's is a dentist. And they do have hard candies as well. So that's a great option to have in your house for any time, for a guilt-free, stick something in your mouth and have a treat. Now, we're going to get into talking about glycemic indexes a little bit. But again, anything ending OL, xylitol, sorbitol, maltitol, all of these OLs are what's called sugar alcohols. There's no actual alcohol in them. It's just a terminology. And sugar alcohols are a form of carbohydrate. They are not technically 0 calorie, but they're very low on the glycemic index, or most of them are, which makes them a great sugar substitute because they don't tend to spike blood sugar and they don't sabotage your weight. So they're a great alternative to sugars, especially when you're in a weight loss mode. So another product that they come out with that I like is Dr. John's came out with these mints. And this one's called Tangy Melon. Again, they have several different things. What I like is kind of like a Tic Tac. You just flip open the box and you've got a little candy treat, easy to pop into your mouth. In terms of calories, when you're in the caloried world, 2 lollipops is 30 calories, and these are going to last you quite long. Serving size on this is 4 pieces for these mints, and 4 pieces is 5 calories. So essentially, they're about 1 calorie each. So again, when you're in the caloried world, when you're outside of the chemistry of AccuWeight, again, keep in mind, these are sensible treats that you can have that are not adding a lot to your overall success in maintenance. Now, an old favorite of ours, and I hadn't had these in a while, and I just thought of them for myself. Again, xylitol-based candy. We used to carry these in our offices, is ice chips. Some of you from many years ago, I remember these were a Shark Tank favorite. They come in many, many different flavors. What's great, flip top box. And when you open them up, they're called ice chips because they kind of look like little fractured pieces of ice, right? Again, xylitol based, so it's good for dental hygiene. And here, serving size is 2 pieces, 5 calories per piece. Again, calories not an issue when you're in the AccuWeight chemistry. But again, we're also talking about what maintenance looks like and things that when you're not in a weight loss mode, or even if you're doing some kind of calorie program, to keep in mind, those are good things. What I like is these come in so many different flavors. I'm trying this one for the first time. I actually just tried it before we went on air. This is salted caramel. I love sweet and sour things. This is sour apple. For you chocoholics, there's chocolate brownie. So the whole idea is if you keep a variety in your house, here's sour cherry. They tend to sell, again, I bought these on Amazon. I do most of my shopping these days online, especially since pandemic. I still use Instacart. But they've got like a nice variety of flavor. This one's orange cream. So it just gives you a sense. On Amazon, they are sold as a 3-pack. So you get a variety of 3 different flavors. And again, variety is the spice of life. So when you've got some different flavors in the house, you're never getting bored of anything. Some other options, again, all natural sweeteners is stevia. So I found a few years ago this great little company called Stevita. And again, I bought a variety pack on Amazon. It's just a great little package where you pop open, and inside are little hard candies. They're really delicious. This particular pack came with strawberry, came with cherry, and we also got in this package, we got grape and orange. My daughter's favorite is grape. And again, one of the reasons I get these is great, guilt-free, something that I can give my daughter. And again, she's not on a diet, right? She's in the calorie world. What's great is this says, serving size 1 piece, calories per serving 3 calories. So here's an all-natural candy that not only am I getting a treat, but guilt-free. How many, for those of you who are parents, especially of young children, our kids want what we have, right? So if they see us eating something, Mommy, I want to try that too, or Daddy, I want that. So it's really nice when you've got products in the house that you can share. Sharing's a big deal, especially to our kids. And we want them overall to try what we're eating. So if they want our candy, maybe also when we're making that fabulous veggie dish, they're going to also say, can I try some of that? And I'm like, yeah, you try my candy, let's also try my broccoli. And guess what? When I did that, it turns out my daughter loves broccoli. Who knew? Now, again, just exploring in general, I called it Google around. I was searching around Amazon for natural candies, stevia based, and I came across this Glee company, sugar-free candies, again, all natural. And guess what? Calories, 0. They're kind of like mini sweet tarts. It's kind of cool. You pull open the box, and they've got these little mini candies. Here we go. So, whoops, they're just kind of like the old-fashioned sweet tarts, except they're made with stevia, and they're all natural. So again, the key is being available in yourself to be open-minded, to to take a look and say, hey, what's out there? If you know you're a stevia person or a xylitol, or you're just starting to explore these things, keep in mind that, sometimes you might buy something you don't love, but more often than not, you're going to find a hit. So it's really worthwhile to just spend a few minutes Googling around and seeing what's available out there. And again, there's more and more and more brands. And now that the community at large is a lot more open-minded and wanting healthier options, there are a lot more variety than when we first started 24 years ago. I want to take a look. Just tuned in. What was the first thing you were discussing to have handy? I think what we were talking about, I apologize, is we were just talking about having some sugar-free candies, so that you've got some stuff available for yourself, so that grab and go, like when you're looking for something, you've got something that you enjoy to put in your mouth and is a treat. And so I'm just talking about some various products that I have found just by Googling around. And they're here because these are all things that we use in my house. So just giving you an idea. Now, something I haven't ordered in a while, I just remembered them, looked them up, found them, and I've got some other flavors on the way. This is, again, a stevia sweetened candy. It's called Puntini. This is actually from Italy, but I get it on Amazon. I will say this does have some artificial flavor in it. It says natural and artificial. There are these great little candies. My daughter loves these. Again, I have a 10-year-old, so when you can say, again, I don't love her having artificial stuff, but it's pretty minor what the artificial is in it. They're really small. They do have hard ones and soft ones. We got the chewies. The soft ones are like, they're little gummies. And they come in, like in this case, many different fruit flavors. This package, does it say on it? I can't remember. Oh, it doesn't actually say. Does it say? I thought it said it somewhere. Anyway, I thought it said it. But again, there's been grape, lime, lemon, cherry. It's got a nice variety, standard variety of flavors. And it's chewy, so it's like a gummy. So win-win. And again, when you're in the calorie world, again, my daughter's not on a diet, but I want to manage and make sure that she never needs one. She wants a candy. There's 2 calories per piece, and they're chewy gummies, and it's a much healthier option because it's sweetened with stevia. In this case, it's one of those few that I do have in the house that has artificial flavor as well as natural flavors, but because it has both, it's very minimal. I don't overdo it with her, but I do allow it. And same with myself. If it's good for her body or good for my body, then we allow it. I used to be a very big artificial sweetener user. I was a big sweet and low girl. But my realization was if I wouldn't allow my kid to have it, I'm trying to be better about what I bring into my body. Do keep in mind, we do allow artificial sweeteners. So if you're somebody who uses Splenda, Equal, Sweet and Low, by all means, I'm not looking to take those away from you. It's more of an education process. Sometimes if we can mitigate what we're using with some of these all natural products, again, anything in moderation, not so bad, but when we're overdoing it, we're creating a problem. So like Werther's are a huge favorite, even in my household and with many of our clients. They do use Splenda. Splenda is still an artificial sweetener made with natural. The ingredients are natural ingredients to get to it, but the reality is Splenda itself is chemically derived. So even though they're using natural ingredients, it's chemically derived. And again, we don't know necessarily yet what the long-term effects are. For some people, it's no issue at all. It is 0 calorie, but for some people, it does create intestinal issues. So when we can find a variety of options, many of which are natural, then we can offset some of those things and sometimes replace some of those things. I'm a big believer, if you really love something, it's okay to keep it in your world, but if you know it's got some less healthy ingredients, how do we find a balance to find some more natural things that we can enjoy? And again, so I don't have names on this. This is new for me, that we're using a new platform for broadcasting. Usually I can see it just says Facebook user. But yes, we were talking about lollipops to start. One of the reasons that we like lollipops so much is, again, if I take a lollipop, pull off the thing. Okay, first of all, I can never forget it's here. I've got the oral fixation of the stick always touching my lips. If you think about it, for many of us, once we stick a sucking candy in our mouth, once we get the initial flavor, we forget about it. We go on doing what we're doing and we're still sucking on it, but we forget about it. And eventually we're chewing on it, crunching through it, and we're looking for the next one, or now we're picking on food. What's nice with a lollipop, you stick it in your mouth. Again, oral fixation, you're sucking on it. But because of the size and the fact that we're keeping it in our mouth the way we do, we tend to build up some saliva with the flavor. And what happens when you build up saliva with the flavor, you pull it out, you swallow, and you put it back in. So now I've got constant interaction with the thing that I'm eating. If I've got constant interaction, there's no absent-minded eating of it, right? I've constantly got a connection. And so now there's no boredom or forgetfulness setting in, and I've got satisfaction. Lollipops do tend also to be slightly larger than sucking candies. So in that case, it's going to last longer. And keep in mind, most cravings and urges for food last on average 20 minutes. So when you let time go by, any urge or craving that you're experiencing is going to start waning. So by the time you finish sucking on your lollipop, an urge or a craving for whatever you were having, unless it's related to a vitamin or mineral deficiency, if it's just like, oh, I smelled it, or I saw people eating it, or I saw it on TV and now I'm craving it, sticking a lollipop in your mouth and sucking on it over time is actually going to push away the craving and urge. Again, we highly recommend you do some Qigong breathing first, kind of admit that you're taking a substitute, and then enjoy. Again, finding flavors that you like and connect to, big deal. And again, remember, one of the reasons we get these cravings and urges is boredom, right? Boredom looks for comfort, and one of the most obvious comforts is food. And it's built into our child self to look to food for comfort. And what connects to your child self more than a lollipop? Again, my daughter's now 10 years old. She can have a sucking candy. But when she was little and first introduced to candy, lollipop, any parent knows if you can see the stick, you know your kid's not going to choke. A sucking candy always poses the risk of choking. So in terms of connecting and making your child self happy, we always say, turn to a lollipop. I joke, and I've got my dad trained now too. You'll have heard him say, I defy somebody to even say the word lollipop and not smile. There's something even in the word that connects us to that child self. And by the way, there are other brands. I happen to personally love Dr. John's, which is why, again, what I'm showing you today is just out of my cabinet. There are lots of other brands out there. I will say Zollipops is another brand of, I think it's spelled with a Z. Yeah, Zollipops. They're also a xylitol-driven lollipop. I believe those were actually created by a kid for other kids, again, to have a natural, healthy lollipop. So those are popular as well. There are other brands. It just happens that we love the flavor of Dr. John's, so that's what's in my house. In terms of where to find them, many of these products are sold in health food stores, but you're going to find with the natural products, more and more of them are only going to be found online because, again, smaller marketplace still. They're not mass marketed for the most part. It keeps their overhead down, and these products do tend to cost a little more to manufacture. So they're able to keep their price points lower by not having storefronts and not being at retail. So you will find most of these products. Google them. You're going to find them on Amazon. If you look elsewhere or go to their websites, sometimes just not going into Amazon, but going into Google or Bing or one of the search engines and typing natural candy, natural lollipops, xylitol-based lollipops, erythritol, stevia-based candy. These things are going to help you find various products, and you can read about it. Some of the other brands, for example, with xylitol, there's a company called Spry. They're very popular for candies and mints. My favorite, they do have mints as well, but we use them for the gum, this is Pure. Again, I think this one is xylitol. You forget when you've used a product for a really long time. Where's this one? I think it's xylitol. It's most sugar-free gum has aspartame in it. So this one actually says, kick aspartame, live pure. But I love the Pure company. They have a lot of different flavors. There's always some variation on mint. So this is pomegranate mint gum. You'll see what we have in the house. My daughter's favorite, always kid bubble gum. And I love the regular mint family. So there's a spearmint. My other favorite of theirs, they actually have a chocolate mint, which is one of my favorites. I'm starting to see names. Yay. So Annette, where do you buy them? Oh, so I answered where to buy the lollipops. So again, the Dr. John's, the two places I personally get them that I found the best pricing is Amazon and at their own website. You're going to find the most variety, obviously, at their own website. They may have changed it, but I believe it's still drjohns.com. They're now rebranded as, if you can see, Dr. John's Healthy Sweets. Again, great it's husband-wife team. Again, they've been in business about a year longer than us, and I've had the chance to speak to Debbie, Dr. John's wife, and she's lovely. And, we really love their products. Now, when you visit their website, you're going to see there are other products, like they make sugar-free chocolates and caramels and taffies and those types of things. Those are not Accurate legal because of other ingredients in them. Sometimes they're good options for during maintenance. Again, it's still taking the sugar component out. But it is, oh, hi, we've got a guest visitor. Look at that. My dad is back from the office. So I wanted to see, let me read comment. Nyla, makes a lot of sense about my lollipops for me to look on Amazon. It makes it mindful of the child connection. Yeah, I mean, really, that child self, it's real. So how do we make them happy? Because that's really, when we get into cheating, it's our child self just going, I want. And then we have to deal with the child and parent self kind of getting into balance. So a parent can nicely say, here is a guilt-free treat, but it's a treat. Then we've got a happy child and a happy parent. Oh, you know what, Annette? You're asking me, can you eat the cauliflower at Chipotle? And you asked me that online, and I apologize. I did forget to look it up. I promised to take a look. I haven't been to Chipotle. I know their guacamole is legal. I don't know what's in their cauliflower. So I promise to take a look, and I will respond to you this evening via Facebook to get you that answer. So to update you, Dr. Schwartz, welcome, dear old dad. We've been talking about candy.
I knew a candy once.
So we've been just talking about the different kind of candies that we have in our house. And by the way, my dad indulges in these too at night. We sit, that's our little bonding thing. We sit at night and we unwind in front of the TV and we have our Dr. Johns together. So I was just sharing some of the different products that we have in the house, partly to set me up for my detox success and partly just because I enjoy them. They're good for Ava and makes us all happy.
And the reason I thought I'd pop in is, one, to say hello. And you can see me without a mask. But number two, for me, I love what Barbara's doing right now because people really don't stop to think and understand that the most difficult thing in any diet, any weight loss program, is the psychological aspect of it. When Barbara and I sit sometimes in the evening and are doing something together, I have a lollipop in my mouth and so does she. And here's the reason. And I'm only talking for me. Going back to my days in college, when I would study, when I would watch television, when I would be mostly alone doing different kinds of things, I was also snacking on some level or another. Why, I don't know, but it made me feel good, and I did it. The Dr. John's lollipop serves that purpose. I sit there, I've got something that tastes good in my mouth, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm in control. And that's the biggest part. It's a lollipop. It tastes good. And I know that by using it, I'm not doing anything else that would impact upon me maintaining my weight. Hi, thanks for listening. And I'll be back. Just remember, she's much better looking than I, and take care.
Now, one of the things I promised to talk about this evening is when you're looking at products on the market, how to understand hidden ingredients, hidden sugars. So often things are marketed as sugar-free. Understand that as long as it doesn't have sugar cane, it is considered sugar-free. But there are many sources of sugar. Think about it, right? Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. So corn, one of the reasons corn is a non-veggie for AccuWeight is it is a source of sugar. And chemistry-wise, why does AccuWeight work and why do you feel so great? What are you burning when you burn that fat? You're burning the sugar stored in your fat cells. So we want to keep things on a lower glycemic level so that the sugar going in here isn't really slowing the process down, and we're ensuring that the body is burning the sugar that is stored in your fat cells for energy, because again, we get energy from sugar. And that's why in the simple sugars like sugar cane that's been heavily refined, we see with a lot of kids and even adults, right after somebody has something very sugary, boom, they're bouncing off the walls and they're very hyper because our body doesn't have to go through anything strenuous to process it. It's easy access sugar, which means instant sugar spike, and our body's now reacting versus responding. Now, as an example, and it's one of the examples I use, and again, it's a tasty, again, I don't look to badmouth these things because it's tasty, and when you're on maintenance, If you want to enjoy it on occasion, not an issue. The key is, again, from an educational perspective. So as you know, if you're already an AccuWeight client, we limit the candy. Essentially, we say to 6 pieces a day, no more than 10 calories per piece. So net, really what we're saying is no more than 60 calories coming from candy. And understand that all these calories are indicating that we are not a calorie-based program. As you know, we're all based in chemistry. But what those calories indicate for us is typically sugar content. Because again, there are these hidden sugars, and even the sugar alcohols, they're again not alcohol, they're just called sugar alcohols. They are natural derivatives, typically from some kind of plant or the breakdown of some other substance, but they're natural sugars, but they are carbohydrates. And so in and of themselves, they still do contain calories, and we want to limit that. So ultimately, again, we're still focused on burning the sugar that's coming from your fat cells to set you up for success. So as an example, very, very popular brand, Nips. Nips does offer sugar-free Nips. Again, you're talking regular candy size as compared to a Dr. John's lollipop, right? And we just said one of these, and again, this is lollipop, not sucking candy, lollipop. Sorry, oh, there's the camera, right? So we're talking a larger size. This, and again, there's xylitol in it. This is 15 calories. And again, most of those calories really do come from the xylitol. And to give you a sense, xylitol on the glycemic index is 12. Sucrose, which is sugar, is 65. Okay, so we're very low on the glycemic scale with xylitol. It has a little bit, but it's not going to spike your blood sugar. So it's considered a diabetic safe kind of sugar alcohol because, again, it doesn't spike blood sugar. It's at 12. It's very low on the glycemic scale. So I was looking up just to give you actual facts. I hadn't looked at it in a while. Sugar-free Nips actually have 30 calories for 1 piece of candy. And the very first ingredient is maltitol syrup. Now, maltitol syrup is, is 35 on the glycemic index. So 12 versus 35. So we've already jumped up. Now, it happens that the second ingredient was cream. So right there, again, it may be sugar-free, but you're already starting to get some fatty ingredients in there. So it's kind of just starting to know what the names are of some, again, hidden sugars. Now, the biggest one to know is dextrin and maltodextrin. Those are sugars that are made from corn. Again, they're a derivative of corn syrup. And by the way, maltitol is a derivative of corn syrup. It is lower on the glycemic scale, but it is a derivative of corn syrup, which is why it's slightly higher on the glycemic scale than xylitol, which comes from the bark of a birch tree. Now, the highest on the glycemic scale is maltodextrin, 110 on the glycemic index. Sugar, sucrose, is 65. Maltodextrin is 110. You will often see maltodextrin listed in many products, including bread, crackers, things like that. So keep in mind, as a shopper, one of our roles in your world is to help educate you. It doesn't mean never use products that have these things, but the better educated, the better the balance as you make decisions in your life. So maltodextrin, the next thing is maltose. Again, anything OSE is a form of sugar, right? Glucose, fructose, sucrose, lactose. By the way, lactose, which is in our milk, right? We are using milk on milk days. Lactose is 45 on the glycemic scale. Again, in a positive way, it puts something into your blood sugar. And again, fructose is really important. That's why we have fruit on our diet. Fructose is at a glycemic index of 25. Again, sugar or sucrose is up there at 65. But it just gives you a sense that, again, maltodextrin and dextrin are ingredients you will see buried in many products that say they're sugar-free. So just, again, going from an educational perspective, know that just because something says it's sugar-free doesn't mean it's healthy, doesn't mean it's good for you, doesn't even mean it's diabetic safe. So it really is come from an education aspect. And I'm going to, like, again, I had printed out a whole chart of glycemic index. And just from an educational perspective, we'll post this so that you guys can see and look it up at any time. But to give you a sense too, sucralose, which we talked about, it is still an artificial sweetener, but it is made from sugar and chloride, is at a 0. And so is aspartame. And those are why, as you know, artificial sweeteners, they've become so popular, is that they are 0 on the glycemic scale and they're 0 calorie, but they are putting something artificial in. But here's what's also important. Inulin, which is a sugar fiber, is at a 1. Stevia, also 0. So stevia, which is natural, refined in many different ways. And some of the problems people have with stevia is, depending on the way it's been refined, it can have an aftertaste, so not everybody loves it. But there are many, many more manufacturers and brands of stevia. And because it's not regulated by the FDA, in the sense of sugar is actually regulated. Years ago in my old career, I actually had Domino Sugar as a client of mine, and I've been in the plant. I've seen raw sugar coming off the ships, and I've seen it refined. There are very specific glucose levels in a granule of sugar. It is defined by our federal government, and to be called sugar, it must contain a certain amount of glucose. It's very highly regulated. Stevia is not regulated in the same way. So because of that, there are different ways to refine it. And depending on the manufacturer, they may be refining it in a different way. And often it's now combined with another natural ingredient, such as erythritol, again, a sugar alcohol. It's natural. It is in the carb family, but again, low glycemic. And it's often paired with something like that. That's where your Truvia, your Splenda Natural, monk fruit is another one that's natural. It comes from the monk fruit. Those are very low on the glycemic scale as well. I don't think that one's on this list, but I'll look it up for you guys. But often stevia is now paired with something else to help give it a more pleasant taste and remove that aftertaste. So those are great options. But again, right there, we've got some natural 0 calorie options that have 0 glycemic index. So they're not going to have an impact on your blood sugar. So again, it's all about being educated, and it's not about deprivation. It's not that I can't have, it's that, okay, I may have to invest a little time to find products that I can enjoy guilt-free. And I shared quite a few this evening. I have to tell you, there are many others. Like, we actually used to carry Zelly's mints and gum. Again, another xylitol-based candy and gum. We used to offer that in our offices. There are just so many brands out there, and more being added every day. So don't be shy about looking for them. And when in doubt, do feel free to reach out via Facebook, the live chat, on the website, texting, emailing. We're always happy to review items. And again, Annette, I owe you an answer on something you did ask me to look into, that cauliflower. But it is always our pleasure to research things for you. We're here to help, right? We're here as your guides and teachers. So it's our pleasure to assist you in that process. And often, like, I'm not familiar with the cauliflower, I might find something wonderful and new for the rest of our clients by researching it for you. So never hesitate, because if it's something you're enjoying, and if we say yes, we now can pay that forward to many people by doing that research as well. So not only are we helping you, by you asking that question, you may be helping many. And it's always fun to pay that forward.
I'd like to jump in for just a moment. As those of you who know me know that Dr. Chu once said, you cannot be an overweight doctor. He just used other words. I thought I was eating healthy. What I discovered in the process of becoming Dr. Schwartz, part of AccuWeight, is that these hidden sugars are extremely problematic. Now, simplistically, forget about losing weight. Look at me in my life now on maintenance. We eat the food, yes, because it tastes good, but we eat to get energy. The food is digested, the sugar is taken out of the food, the sugar is used for energy. When we have these high glycemic substitutes, and they're hidden in many of the kinds of things that we eat, here is the problem. Instead of the body going and using the food for energy, the body uses the high glycemic substitute for energy, and the rest of your meal, the rest of your food is stored in your fat cells because it's not needed anymore. The body got a quick fix.
So we're going to call it quits on that topic for this evening. Again, if you have questions, if you want more information, it is always our pleasure to help. We can cover more on another evening if there's some more detail or information that you want. And we love hearing from you guys. You know, again, these broadcasts are to help you. So if you have specific questions, send them our way. We're happy to address it in this forum because if you've got that question, many others probably do as well. So moving to the next topic, and again, feel free to jump in. We're going to talk about detox. Again, what does detox mean? And, somebody asked earlier today, what's the difference between the weight loss and the detox? And are they the same, or is it just the goal? So I thought I'd clarify a few things and, and talk about subtle differences that there really are between weight loss and detox in terms of AccuWeight. And, detox. Why do I want to? So keep in mind that just, again, eating the things that we eat, our environment the way it is, the reality is we're surrounded by toxins. And we are consuming them. They're in our soils, they're in our air, they're in our body. So going through a detox is just like we talked about, I mentioned earlier, we take our car in for an oil change and for maintenance work and for a tune-up, not because it's not working, but by tuning that engine, by giving it some maintenance work proactively, we're actually preventing problems down the line. Now, in the detox world, before, years ago, before kind of organic and things were mainstream, people would detox with seasonal change. It was an indication, again, the environment's changing a little bit. Let's clean the system and let's keep up. So the most common detox for people who are really in that detox world is 4 times a year with each seasonal change. What we found is that at minimum, doing a quick cleanse or tune-up twice a year, somewhere between 2 to 4 times a year, best what suits you, will really just help keep that large intestine clean, help keep your whole digestive system running a little better. And the reality is, even just in our intestines, think of them again, just like all the piping in the car. Where do we go for an oil change? Oil builds up around the edges of the pipes, and you have to clean out the drain pipes to let it run more smoothly. Our large intestine literally builds up crap around the sides. So by doing a cleanse, by doing a detox and cleaning out that large intestine, over the long run, we're letting it run better, and therefore our system runs better. The one place we can reabsorb fluids is from our large intestine. So whenever our body is a little dehydrated, again, what's the priority? We got to keep the organs, right? Our heart, our lungs, our brain, all of our organs, they need to keep hydrated. That's priority 1. And then we have, obviously, our blood is fluid. All of our joints, synovial fluid. Our body runs by being properly hydrated. So whenever the body perceives a lack of hydration, the first thing it's going to do is go to the one place that it can reabsorb fluids, which is from your large intestine, from your stool. So literally, think about, what is your stool? It's the solid waste from eating. We eat, it's in our stomach, it gets broken down, it's turned into chyme, it goes through our small intestine, nutrients are absorbed. The liquids that we're excreting, it's urine, and the solids we're excreting are our stool. So now the stool's in the large intestine, and that is literally the waste from the foods, from the solids that we eat. Now, there is still some fluid in there, so the body will reabsorb those fluids, which is our waste, right? It's a little bit toxic. And so our body is now reabsorbing some toxic fluids from our body to help hydrate. So that's number one of the causes of constipation. So if you notice, in any point in life, if you're feeling, as they call it, little rabbit stool, or your stool is hard, that's an indication that your body has been reabsorbing fluids from your large intestine, from your stool. And that means you're bringing toxins into your body that are coming from literally your solid wastes from food. And obviously that's not doing any service to your body. So one of the reasons to detox is you're giving a natural cleanse to that large intestine. In this case, with Activate, 2 days of milk and yogurt, 2 days fruits and vegetables. Your 2 milk days are liquid days. On those days, your large intestine is actually given time off. Everything is going through your urinary system because it's all liquids. On your veggie days, everything that you're eating is fiber, fruits and vegetables. So why do we want fiber? Fiber is what naturally cleans out what's on the walls of the large intestine, and it literally gives it a cleanse. So by doing Activate for 10 days to 2 weeks, you're literally giving it 2 days off, 2 days of cleanse, 2 days off, 2 days of natural cleanse. So by the end of a detox period, you've given a natural cleanse to your large intestine just by doing a temporary dietary change. Now, the other things in terms of the chemistry of Activate that you're doing is, again, it's a very low glycemic program. So the foods you're consuming are low glycemic, and that allows your body to rebalance your blood sugars. Right now, the insulin and glycagon, the pancreas can re-regulate what's going on. Our blood sugars can balance, and we've got a nice clean slate on blood sugars. In addition, most of us are too acidic. Our stomach environment, our digestive environment is very acidic. That's why so many people you hear about acid reflux. By the temporary diet change, again, think about it. Doing whole milk yogurt, fruits and vegetables. By doing these, what are we doing? We're mimicking a 10-month-old baby's diet. And in doing that, we're literally allowing our pH balance to come back to about 10-month-old baby health. So we're resetting our pH balance. So it's a 3-pronged detox. We're rebalancing blood sugars, resetting our pH balance, and cleaning out our large intestine. Now, the difference between weight loss and detox, well, most people coming for weight loss are coming because of the success. And again, we're promising a minimum of 15 pounds of fat loss every month. Naturally, as part of it, you're getting a detox. It's not the purpose that people are coming, but they are getting that nice byproduct. If you're coming for detox, typically you don't have a significant amount of weight to lose, or maybe have none at all, but you're looking for those benefits. And because of the buildup in our large intestine, we're often carrying an extra 3 to 5 pounds of weight just in what's built up into our intestinal wall. So by cleaning that out, we do naturally lose some weight. It flattens our abdomen. It increases our energy, reduces inflammation. And again, so there's all these wonderful side benefits. If you're truly looking for a detox, and people coming specifically for detox, we'll eliminate artificial sweetener, whereas again, we allow it in the weight loss plan. If you're doing a detox for the sake of detoxing, you're not going to use artificial sweetener. In this case, like I'm detoxing. In this case, admittedly, I am using coffee. But if you want a pure detox, you give up caffeine temporarily. So it's a little more, if you're doing detox, you're eliminating a few more things than you would in the weight loss plan. And it is structured in 2 weeks of following the program, following phase 1. but very specifically 2 days, starting with 2 milk days and then continuing 2 days, 2 days, 2 days for 14 days. And at the end of that 14 days, you're going to transition some foods back into your diet. And then we'll do another week consultation to talk about where you go from there. So the detox program is a very finite kind of 4 weeks together, 2 weeks of doing a cleanse. Again, a little more specific and narrowed down in terms of the foods and the supplements that you might be using. Again, if you're a Walden Farms user that has Splenda, you wouldn't use that during a pure detox. Again, if you really want a full detox, this time I chose not to, you'd give up your coffee and your caffeinated things to do a full cleanse. During weight loss, that's not necessary, but you're still getting most of the benefits of detox. Sounds like I'm looking at your face going, you've got something to add.
There's just one other piece that I come back to all the time. Muscles move your arms and legs. Your heart pumps blood. Your liver and kidneys act as filters. They are actively involved. Fat is the only thing that you lose. You don't lose muscle, you don't lose organ, you don't leach minerals from the bones, and it does not impact on your metabolism. Now, why do I say this? And this is what I want you to hear. Fat does nothing. No matter how you think, you can say it's ugly, you can say it makes me bloated, you could say anything. All of those are passive. Fat is energy like the gasoline in the tank of your automobile being stored. So what we are doing is allowing the body to cleanse itself, and we're not cannibalizing the body during the detox, because the only thing you're losing is the sugar that is stored in the fat cells, or as you've heard me say many times, the sugar that comes from the fat in your body, and the rest of your body is healing.
Well, I was going to say, for me, I appreciate so many of you are following. I'm doing little Facebook posts on a daily basis to kind of keep you up to date with my journey. I love the feedback I'm getting from you guys. I'm glad that my journey is helping inspire many of you and giving you ideas. I try to share my recipes and things that I'm making for myself for the day. If you're ever struggling in menu planning, etc., again, we're here to help. Never be shy. I am experimenting a little bit in the kitchen, and I will share that as well. But as you have questions, do keep, or if there's certain things you'd like me to cover when I do those little Facebooks during the week, let me know. I love to cover the topics that you want to hear, right? I'm here to help you. My journey is my journey, but I'm here to help. Sharing my journey hopefully helps you with yours. So Christine, she said, I so want to try this again, but I don't like veggie days. I did so well before, but I don't know if I have the commitment. Well, here's the thing, Christine. First of all, with veggies, there's so much variety that I really haven't had an instance where I haven't been able to help somebody connect with some kind of flavor or a handful of recipes that work for them. So what I'll say is this, reach out to me. We're going to sign off in a couple of minutes. My direct email address is Barbara, BARBARA @AccuWeight.com. And it's Barbara@AccuWeight.com. And let me know a couple of times that are good, and let's schedule a call and let's figure this out together, right? I'm happy to point you in the direction, like a little Q&A is going to help. And that's the key. Why do we want phone calls with some of you? A Q&A helps. You know, I know what I like, but Christine, I don't know what you like, right? So as I understand flavors, textures, what's missing for you, hopefully I can help you figure it out. I'm not sure when the last time you did the program. Some of our favorite things, so I'll mention, being that was brought up, is, and again, our website has an ingredient search. So if there's certain things that you do like, the nice part is you can now input that ingredient and see what types of recipes will pop up with using that ingredient. And often you'll find some things that appeal. Now, one of our favorites that appeals to most is most people, not all, but most people are pasta lovers. And, there's a sense of giving something up when you can't have your pasta. And look, I'm the first one to say I love my zoodles and I love my butternut squash noodles. But the best thing that we came across are the pelmeni noodles. Now, there are other brands now. Pelmeni, to my knowledge, is the original. They gained popularity on Shark Tank. But pelmeni stands for palm, heart of palm, linguine, so pelmeni. Now, the pelmeni brand has come out with also what they call angel hair, which is, I'll say it's more like a spaghetti consistency, as well as lasagna noodles. And they also recently came out with a rice. Now, I'm a lover of the linguine and the angel hair. I still call it spaghetti. And I will say, I found for Passover, I actually found the Geffen brand had kosher for Passover pelmeni noodles, heart of palm noodles. What's great is they have the texture of pasta. And if you're a pasta lover, again, you can somebody turned me on, a few of our clients turned me on to Rayo's sauce. They use like the whole tomatoes that have just been steamed and peeled. So they're skinless tomatoes, but there's literally like chunks of tomato and garlic and, lots of great seasoning.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Yes.
I, as I said before, am on stabilization, on maintenance. Barbara made for me last week spaghetti primavera. She had the spaghetti primavera, and I had spaghetti primavera with, I guess, a chicken cutlet that she had done in a skillet. And with the tomatoes that Barbara was talking about, because without the skin, it's even healthier. So think about this. She had spaghetti primavera. I had spaghetti primavera with chicken. We ate together. It was absolutely delicious. And she did the cooking.
Now, what you'll find, so if you type pelmeni in the ingredient search, you're going to find a whole bunch of recipes. I'll be posting it. I didn't post over the weekend. I actually had my vaccine. I had my J&J. So, I was a little tired over the weekend, and I choose not to post if I'm not feeling like myself. So it had nothing to do with my detox. I will be very happy that my only side effect, I was a little tired for a few hours. But I did make the pelmeni using the angel hair. I made broccoli, garlic, olive oil pasta. And it was absolutely delicious, so simple to make. And, I'd actually gotten pre-cut up broccoli, and I just sliced up some garlic, used a little bit of, it's called the no chicken broth. So it's a vegetarian. It's basically a vegetable broth, but called no chicken broth. Yeah, I used the two brands that I use are Imagine or Pacific, whichever one is in the store. They come in a box. So pour a little bit of that, saute up my garlic, broccoli. Sometimes I'll throw in mushrooms, but typically I'll just do garlic and broccoli. Saute in the noodles. At the end, put a little bit of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and and Flavor Gods has a cheese flavoring, 0 calorie. You don't want to overuse it. The little sprinkle on top gives that little bit of like a Parmesan taste. And I've got an amazing pasta meal. I actually did eat that as part of my veggie days over the weekend. So I will be posting that so people can see it. It is already on the website. But again, every time I remake something, I like to share it because they all come out different. On that note, unless there's anything you'd like to add, we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, I'll be checking in during the week and filling you in on my journey, and we'll be back here next Monday night at 7. Have a great week.